So when my brother was like around like 9 years old, and it was around Christmas time, he did what everybody did in our family, which is he wrote up his Christmas list and he hung it on the fridge. I would hang it on the fridge so that way everybody in the house could see what you wanted and come up with some like gift ideas. Well, he had a bunch of regular stuff on his list that year, but he had two really big standout items. The first thing that he wanted is he wanted a box of Triscuits, and we were just like, as a family, like, we're gonna get on that box of Triscuits. And so Christmas morning came and there was a big box of Triscuits under the tree for him, and everyone was happy. But the second thing he wanted was a bullwhip. He'd been watching a ton of Indiana Jones, and so he was just like all about it. And we were like, oh my gosh, like let's get him one. Well, two huge problems actually. The first was that bullwhips are incredibly expensive, like authentic ones, and we were like, we're not gonna spend like $2,000 on a 9-year-old's gift. As well as also he was 9, and we kind of thought about it, and we were like, wow, do we want to give that kid a whip? Do we want? How many people do we want to be injured in this household? Like, let's not. But it always kind of like stuck in my brain because I was like, man, if I could get him like an Indiana Jones whip, like he would love it. Fast forward, I'm at Disney and I'm in the Indiana Jones area, and I see they have like a replica Indiana Jones whip, and I'm like, this would make me the best sister ever. So I bought it. And the second I got home from my trip, I jumped in the car and I was driving to my mom's house, and I was like so excited because I was going to give him his little gift. And I will admit that I was a little nervous because, at this point he was like 17 years old. And I was like, what if I give him the whip and he's, because he's a good kid, he'll say like, oh, thank you. But like, what if he's just like, okay, that was kind of lame. Thanks, buddy. So I was kind of nervous, but I was like, you know what? Your brother is also like one of the coolest dudes around. So like more than likely he will be like, so pull up to the house, I jump out of the car and I run up and I like knock on the door, and my mom, my brother, and my one sister are there, and they're like, what? And I'm like, I'm here. And they're like, yeah, why are you here? And I was like, gifts. And so I had gotten them each like a little gift while I was at Disney, and then I presented my brother with his gift, and his face was just like, it was like the sun was shining, everything was great, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, is that a bullwhip like he wanted when he was little? And I was like, yeah, it is. And then we're like, like as a family, because he was just like so excited, and then we all like went outside together and we're watching him, like he's like whipping stuff around like in the air, and we're like clapping, we're like, this is amazing. And my brother was just like, I love this so much. And then my sister and my mom and I got bored, so like we ended up like going inside, and my mom went to like lay down to go take a nap. And then my sister and I were just chatting with each other, and about like 10-15 minutes go by, and all of a sudden we hear like the front door open and close, and we both kind of shout out to my brother like, oh, done having fun? And then we like turn and we look at him, and like his, like, first of all, he was incredibly sweaty, like he was dripping sweat, his face was bright red, and his face was also like devastated. And we were like, what happened, buddy? And he holds up like the two broken things of like the whip, and he's like, it ripped in half. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like what happened? And he's like, well, I was whipping up in the tree, and I was like trying to pull dead branches down, and it suddenly ripped in half. And I was like, well, I got it at like Disney, it's probably not like the full strength, and not just... Why were you whipping up in the tree? And my sister's like, yeah, why were you whipping up in the tree? He's like, well, I was just like, there were dead branches up there, and I thought like I could whip the dead branches and I could like yank them down. And I was like, oh, okay, that like, I guess. And then my sister was like, how many dead branches do you think like are in the tree? And then I, in my brain, I'm like, oh, stop being so rude. Like, he just had his heart broken. Like, his bullwhip is broken. But then I'm like looking at him, and he's just like, and his face is getting redder and he's getting sweatier. And that was when me and my sister kind of like look at each other and looking at him, and he's like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm leaving. And so he like goes to leave, and we're like, that was an overreaction. There's more to the story. But he turns around and his whole back is covered in dirt and leaves. And like my sister and I were like, okay, quick question for you, bud. Were you trying to swing in the tree with the bullwhip, and then that's how it broke because it couldn't carry your body weight? And he's like, and then my sister and I are like, and so like, because we're just so excited because this is the most hilarious thing we've ever heard in our entire lives, and we like jump up and we run outside to like go look, and what we see is under the tree, obviously some type of kerfluffle happened because there is like torn up grass and dirt like right under the tree, and we can see like a broken branch. And then we turn to look at our brother who like followed us outside, and he's like, I mean, like, he did it in the movie, and, like, it was fine when he did it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened? Yeah, he was trying to swing from the bullwhip in the tree, like Indiana Jones, and mid-swing, it broke on him, and he just ate dirt, literally in the front yard. And it was just so good. Because, like, my sister and I then ran inside and we were, like, waking her mom up. And we're like, guess what he did? Guess what he did? And she's just like, oh my gosh, is he missing his eyeballs? And we're like, why would you say that? She's like, because he might have whipped him out. And I was like, why would he whip his eyeballs out? Oh, no, I can see. No, actually. No, even better. He injured himself because he was trying to swing from the tree. And she's like, why was he trying to swing from the tree? And I was like, you raised him. I don't know. Like, think about your kids. And, yeah, so that's just one of my most favorite stories about my brother. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye!